welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. I am so excited today. We're going to be visiting with Patty out in New Salem. But before we do that, I just want to list our sponsors because we don't have a whole lot of time. West River Telecommunications, The Field, Curtis Root Oil, Elmcrest Manor, Sunset Cafe, New Salem Memorial Monuments, Northland Insurance Agency, New Salem Journal, Security First Agency of North Dakota Incorporated, Backus & Sons Custom Fencing, Southwest Mutual Insurance, Neidhart Mobile Home, and New Salem Pharmacy. So we want to give a huge shout out to those sponsors. Without you, we can't be doing this show. So let's take a peek and see where Patty's at today and what she's up to.
Thank you, ladies, and we are joined with Gloria Meyer. She is a bit of a historian in New Salem. You were with the New Salem Historical Society for 25 years. You are 91, and you have lived in New Salem for how long?
Well, I haven't lived in New Salem 85 years, but New Salem has been my town for.
Okay.
I lived on the farm for 60 years.
Okay, on the farm for 60 years.
I moved to town in 1935 and lived here and graduated in 1949 and got married in 50 and moved to a farm till 1960, and now I'm back in New Salem again.
Good place to end up, right?
Right.
And how did New Salem even get started?
Well, it started back in 1881, and I think it was in 1882 when there was a group of people that came out from Chicago, and by train, well, the Northern Pacific Railroad didn't go through North Dakota until 82, I think it was, and so then they came out and they started they were going to call it New Salem, and there was a town in South Dakota by Salem, so they had to change it to New Salem.
So it's the newer, improved model, right? New Salem. One thing that I love about New Salem is the Custer Trail Museum. I believe that is any big city museum doesn't have often as much as you have here in New Salem. And you actually gave tours for many years, right?
Yes, I did.
Tell us about the Custer Trail Museum.
Well, you want to know about the buildings, or?
Well, yeah, sure, both. Tell us about the buildings,
Okay.
What is there, the complex, and then what's inside of them.
Okay. Well, there's two schoolhouses, and the first one, that was our office for many years, and that came from Alver County in Fairview Township, and my oldest boy went to all 8 grades in that school, and then went to New Salem after that. Well, my daughter went there till the 6th grade, and my youngest one, I think, to the 2nd grade. And so then it was moved to New Salem, and then there's another schoolhouse that was out by the Eric Wilkins farm that was moved in. And then we have a new tile building that was built, I can't tell you in what year, but there's dishes, there's, so many different things.
What's some of your favorite? My favorite is an old Harley Davidson motorcycle that is an antique. Some amazing pieces in there.
I believe that's in that building, or maybe it's in the middle. I don't know. They've changed things around, so I don't know where everything is anymore.
And what are some of your favorite antiques?
Well, I like all antiques.
You like them all. You don't want to play favorites. Gloria, you gave a tour of the John Christensen house for
Yes.
many years.
Yes.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about that, starting with in 1910 when it was built? How much was it?
It cost $3,329.29.
Wow.
And Peter Bowman was the guy that was the contractor, I think, for that. And there's a check on the piano in the Christensen house in a frame, the check that they wrote to pay for that house, the John Christensen house. And then it was moved to New Salem in 1987. They had a foundation there that they put it on, but it sat there till into the 1990s before we did anything inside. It needed, well, it was all nice woodwork, and different people lived in that house out on the farm that was still out in New Salem.
It's a beautiful home. I have seen it. $3,329.29. I'm wondering what the 29 cents was for, but I guess they didn't want to round it up. Back then, even a penny was worth something, right?
So
do you know what that would be worth in today's dollars?
I have no idea.
I looked it up, $89,000, which still is, I guess inflation has made houses more expensive, especially building materials.
And there's many pieces of furniture in there that belong to the Christensen family, like a desk and piano and a lot of pantry, kitchen things, stove and stuff like that isn't the original, but it's like what they had.
And you have it set up, to show the era, what kitchens looked like back then, because you really are stepping back into time. You step into the schoolhouse and the church and the Christensen home, and then you have a couple buildings just full of antiques.
Then there's a church that came from Otter Creek.
Okay.
And so they use that once in a while for services. And well, then, like I said, the tile building, and then there's a metal building that has a lot of tractors and other machinery. And now they tell me they built a lean-to on there and have different things in there now. I haven't seen all this, so I don't know. And then there's a barn that they built too, that they took a lot of things out of the tile building and put over in this barn, like all horse saddles and harness and things like that. And then they also have all the stuff from the creamery, because there used to be a creamery in New Salem. They have a lot of that stuff up there in that barn. And what else is in there now, I don't know, because I haven't.
Well, I know I've seen shelves of just old cameras. Back in the day, we didn't have our cell phones. We had to get cameras.
There's cameras, lots of them up there, yeah.
And kitchen equipment and butter churns, when you used to make your own milk and butter, or, make butter from milk.
Right, yeah.
And I know, don't they have like an old dental shop set up, or dental office with a chair and some of the equipment?
Well, in our office, I don't know where they put all that now, because that was in the schoolhouse before that was our office. So I don't know what they have in there anymore. So. And
I love the school because you can walk in and look at the desks and sit in the desks and see what it was like to go to school back then.
Right. Yeah.
In a one-room schoolhouse.
And there's lots of books if you want to look at.
Books.
And there's old maps too that they have. How years ago they had those maps that they'd pull down. That's in the old school.
Right. Yeah. So it was a very different experience for students back then.
And then we have the depot there too. That was from New Salem.
Oh, that's right. The depot, the train depot.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah, so that's where we would always have our meetings after they got that up there, and lots of books from the old library in there, and trophies that they had won or on the shelves in there. Oh, there's just so many things in there too.
There are. I really think the Custer Trail Museum is such a treasure, and I have brought groups before, and you got to plan on spending at least a couple hours, if not more.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, I'll let you know, if you want a tour of it, you would call Leonard at 426-1431, Leonard, 426-1431, and we'll have that up on the screen for you too, because, and if you do happen to show up there and you want to go inside, there's some phone numbers outside the gate, right?
Right.
And in the true spirit of a good hometown, you can just call and see if somebody can take you around the museum. But I do recommend planning ahead, because they can't just be open all the time, right?
No. Years ago when I was on, we'd be up there every Sunday afternoon and take people through. And I enjoyed that, There was a lot of people that would travel through and stop to go through, and
it really is taking a step back in time, and so
it is,
yeah, I just think it's just one of the treasures. There's many treasures in New Salem, but that's definitely one of them. So thank you, Gloria, for joining us today, and I'll hand it back to you, ladies.
Thanks, Patty. I'm looking forward to hearing more, but we're going to have to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this on Ladies of Another View on Back.
My hometown of New Salem is brought to you by the following: West River Telecom, New Salem Pharmacy, Sunset Cafe.
You don't need to live in Silicon Valley to get the best internet speeds in America. You can find them right here in WRT territory.
If we all just put a little bit of effort in and work together, we can get a lot done. We can grow as a community.
WRT members can build successful businesses and receive quality education, all from the rural communities they love.
The sky's the limit for us. We can really do anything that anybody else can do, especially now that we're connected to the world.
Work and play from anywhere. Learn more at westriv.com.
If you don't know what's going on in education in this country, then you don't know what's going to happen in the future of this country. And it's important. I'm Dr. Duke.
And I'm Katie.
Watch the Dr. Duke Show weekdays at 4 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Calling all farmers. Join us Friday, July 16th for Farmers Night at the Bismarck Bucks. The Bucks take on the Frisco Fighters with a 6:05 p.m. kickoff, and we'll highlight our friends at Farm Rescue as we help raise money to support our farmers around the region. For more information on tickets, please visit bismarckbucks.com. Get your free general admission tickets today.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
My hometown of New Salem is brought to you by the following: Neidhart Mobile Home, Southwest Mutual Insurance, The Field.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back. I just wanted to make one comment. You know, it's Custer Trail Museum. You can actually see parts of the original Custer Trail that they took on the way out, and it later became a wagon train out west. So that's interesting. You can see it all the way across North Dakota in different parts of the state. But let's give a shout out to our sponsors, Jan.
Absolutely. We want to say thank you to all these fine folks in New Salem area: West River Telecom, The Field, Curtis Rood Oil, Elmcrest Manor, Sunset Cafe, New Salem Memorial Monuments, Northland Insurance Agency, New Salem Journal, Security First Agency of North Dakota, Inc., Backus & Sons Custom Fencing, Southwest Mutual Insurance, Neidhart Mobile Home, and New Salem Pharmacy. Thanks to all of you.
Absolutely. Now let's take a look and see what Patty's up to.
Thank you, ladies. And I am joined by Alan Tellman. I talked to a lot of people who said you need to talk to Alan, so we're going to talk to Alan. He owns Tellman's Market.
Along with my wife.
Along with your wife. And your wife's name?
Deborah.
Deborah?
Yep.
So Deborah and Alan own Tellman's Market. And I have stopped in there. It's got a great deli, wonderful grocery store. And you also are the president of the Lions Club and president of the Volunteer Ambulance. And I want to start out by talking about, why does New Salem have a 6-ton cow standing on the hill over the city?
Right. Well, you know, the idea went back to the late 60s and early 70s. There was a group of businessmen, I think it was a banker for the most part, that noticed that New Salem had a very strong economic base, good cash flow, partly due because of the dairy industry, because the majority of the agriculture around New Salem was dairy. You get your cream check every 2 weeks, you get your milk check every 2 weeks, provide a good cash flow. Plus, New Salem had the Holstein for a mascot, and somebody got the idea is we should do something big for the cow, a statue, a monument, or something to commemorate the industry and the Holstein animal. So, after years of research and making road trips to Wisconsin, I think, to look at some other fiberglass structures and talking with companies, in 1974 they had the dedication for the Salem Sioux as she stands today, just as strong as the first day she was up there.
Salem Sioux, and who doesn't love Salem Sioux as you're driving by?
It's a wonderful place to go if you ever have the chance. There's picnic tables up there, there's some information up there, there's a phone number you can dial in with your cell phone and learn about the Holstein Association. Back in the day there was a strong Holstein circuit, what they called. It was a breeders organization that developed good quality Holstein cattle, and you can learn a lot by going up there. Besides that, the view from Salem Sioux is spectacular.
Well, it's so unique, and I know it's been written up in a lot of different websites and places to visit, and they'll mention Salem Sioux in New Salem, North Dakota. So you really put us on the map here.
Yeah.
And it's funny that as a teenager, you thought it was a terrible idea, right?
It was. There was another idea on the drawing board at that time, and that was a rec center or a bowling alley, something of that sort. And of course, we thought as teenagers, we thought the Holstein cow on the hill was the absolute wrong decision.
But you don't feel that way now,
no,
right?
She stands strong today, and I'm not sure if the other idea would have. So.
Right, yeah. Where would the bowling alley be today, right?
Down the gutter.
Yeah, there you go, down the gutter. And also, I asked you if you could tell us a little bit about a unique event that used to be held in New Salem. It's not held here anymore. But you used to have bachelor days.
We had bachelor days, and that too was around the same time, late 60s, early 70s. There was some kind of a survey taken, and it was discovered that New Salem had a large amount of single men available, a higher percentage than most of the rest of the country. So a group of those individuals got together and formed bachelor days, which turned out to be an organized celebration. Where you registered as an eligible bachelor. They got fantastic coverage. If you remember the Life magazine,
right, yeah.
They got on the cover of Life magazine. I think that was in 1973 or something like that. And there was a farmer by the name of Clinton Roosh, front page. He went on to get a lady, raised a family, and lived happily ever after.
So the founder of Bachelor Days did find himself a wife?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, good.
And actually, several bachelors became married men. And there was several success stories. They didn't all work out, but even after Bachelor Days went away or was discontinued, the Singles Club, I think they called it, went on for quite a few years and put on socials, and it's actually a success. And it was all done the old-fashioned way. It was writing letters and sending pictures to prospective individuals that maybe we're looking for somebody.
But then they would have a big gathering and people would meet each other, and so all the single ladies would come to New Salem and meet the bachelors.
Yep. And I actually had a relative, his name was Quentin, got communicating with a lady in California, and things looked good. He sent her a crumbled up picture of himself, and she loaded up the 62 station wagon with her 3 kids and came to his door and said, "Here I am."
Wow.
And they went on and had additional children and did very well.
So
there were some really success stories in it.
Before reality TV with a show like The Bachelor, before internet dating, there was Bachelor Days in New Salem. So wow, you were ahead of your time here. And then we couldn't have you here without talking about Tellman's Market that you and your wife Deborah started, because there wasn't a grocery store for a while, right?
No, we had just lost our grocery store for a few years. My wife and I had just exited the dairy industry, moved to town, and I myself, I need a routine in my life or I don't do well. When I wake up in the morning, I have to be needed someplace, or I don't discipline myself very well. So, you know, we looked into the idea of putting in some type of a grocery store. At first, it was just something to where you could get the things you run out of, the sugar, the milk. We visited a lot of grocery stores, a lot of small town grocery stores, and it just looked like we needed a model that could do everything, that had everything for the Sunday dinner, right down to the spices and all the ingredients.
So you started out like just maybe a convenience store, and then you said, nope.
Well, it just looked like
we're not going to compromise.
If you didn't have a full menu, you would have too many voids and it wasn't going to work. And of course, you know, we're only 20 minutes from the big box stores, so it's a challenge, it is. But my wife's a numbers person, she loves it. It's a lot like milking cows, although in the holidays you don't have to. But,
well, right, yeah.
So it's been quite an experience. It has. It's been rewarding. There's days that are disappointing, but it's been great.
And that's one of the things when we do the My Hometown segments, I really encourage people to, when you come to town for whatever reason, for the events, you know, buy your gas there, go to the grocery store. And you've got a great deli too, so I'm sure you're much appreciated by the town. Thanks so much, Alan, for coming and visiting with us today.
Good. Thank you.
Back to you,
very
ladies.
much.
Thanks, Patty. Boy, I think I'd like to sit down with Mr. Tellman sometimes. It sounds like he can tell a story.
No doubt.
Yeah. But we're going to have to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this with Ladies of Another View on Beck and Patty.
My Hometown of New Salem is brought to you by the following: Curtis Rude Oil, New Salem Memorial Monuments, Northland Insurance Agency.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
My Hometown of New Salem is brought to you by the following: Elmcrest Manor, Security First Agency of North Dakota Incorporated, New Salem Journal.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We are so excited to talk to Patty out there. All kinds of interesting things, but we want to give thanks to our sponsors.
Thank you so much to our sponsors: West River Telecom, The Field, Curtis Red Oil, Elmcrest Manor, Sunset Cafe, New Salem Memorial Monuments, Northland Insurance Agency, New Salem Journal, Security First Agency of North Dakota Incorporated, Backus & Sons Custom Fencing, Southwest Mutual Insurance, Neidhart Mobile Home, New Salem Pharmacy.
Perfect. And if you guys are ever out in the area, make sure that you check those sponsors out because, you know, we're here to support small town and we'd like you to as well. But let's throw it back out to Patty and see what she's up to.
Thank you, ladies. And we are back in New Salem with Lynette Fitterer. Thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Lynette is the mayor of New Salem, and she has been for 12 years. So we kid that she must be doing a good job or nobody else wants it, but I think it's the former, from what I hear. And you're also a manager at Central Dakota Frontier Cooperative.
Correct.
So what is it like being a mayor of a small town like New Salem?
You're busy. I think the fact that everybody knows you and you know everybody, the comfort zone is really high because people feel comfortable coming to you about just about anything. And so communication is a big factor when it comes to these things, and they're not all big problems. You know, people come to you if there's a stray cat or a stray dog or they see something out of the ordinary. They're very observant about things, and so they give you a call.
Seriously, so like a stray dog or cat, you might get a phone call.
Well, in addition to being the mayor, I'm also animal control.
Oh, okay.
So if
well, that makes sense then.
Law enforcement gets called and they need help with an animal or whatever, it's up to me to go over and either try and catch it or find out who owns it. And usually what we do is we take a picture of it, we put it on our Facebook page, and within a matter of minutes, somebody claims it.
And also, when we were talking earlier before the show, you said a big part of city government is the city council.
Absolutely.
And you really sang their praises that they really get the job done.
Right. You know, when I first started my position as mayor, it took a little while to kind of figure out, you know, how to work with a good cross-cut portion of the community, and that being the people that represent us on our city council. We have a good cross-section of people. They represent the young, the old, the middle, you know, the business people, the retired people. Everyone is represented. And I think the city council does a really good job, number one, because they don't have personal agendas. They listen to basically what we would call their constituents. And if people voice a concern, they bring it to the city council, or they try to handle it on their own. And so, you know, we meet once a month for a few hours. And most people say you can't run a town by getting together 2 hours a month. And actually we can, because our city council is superb at taking care of things that don't even make it to the city council. They're very aware of things. They're very willing to listen to people. They have good communication with not only people in our community, but also with each other. They discuss things, and we can come to a general consensus without having to make a big deal about it.
That says a lot about New Salem. I love that you have all different ages because people are involved, right? And they do care, and it's a lot easier instead of like, oh, there's just a bunch of old people on the city council, or, you know.
Well, and you know, we do have some people that are very seasoned on the city council. They've been on there for a number of years. We just had a older gentleman retire, I think 2 years ago, who had been on there for like 24 years. And, you know, someone came in and took over his spot that was new, had never been on the city council at all.
Wow.
And we encouraged him to go ahead and run. And so we have people that have, you know, the terms are for 4 years, but not everybody's up for re-election at the same time. And so we get a good cross-section of people, and we have people that continue the works of the city council, even though we get new people and even though we have seasoned people, so we have all different makes and models, I guess.
I love that. I know,
Yep.
it's so good. Like, I didn't want to make it, I hope I didn't sound like, oh, you just don't have a bunch of old people, because I'm getting old. But just to have that mixture, you know,
Right.
where you have old and young, so they benefit from one another.
Well, I think that our city council and even myself in particular have really encouraged young people to get involved in our community. You know, I think we've gotten away from that in society as you know, a rule with social media and so forth, the lack of young people getting involved in civics. We try to get to the school, like during City Government Week, and talk to the kids about city government. We try to encourage them to come to meetings and sit as like a junior councilman, and some of the teachers will give them bonus points for doing things like that. So.
Oh, wonderful. So the school is encouraging it. And speaking of schools, the school here is doing fairly well, right? How many, what's the enrollment?
I would say between 375 and 400. We've had a lot of new people that have moved into the community. We do have some bigger classes in the upper lower grades, in the upper elementary. I think this past year we graduated maybe 17 or 20 kids. But for the most part in the elementary school, we have 2 sections of each class with a teacher for each. So the student to teacher ratio is about 12 to 1.
Wow.
We have a good paraprofessional program, good staff, and the school is not afraid to use their resources to get people to help the kids however they can.
One thing that really impressed me when I was talking with you earlier, when I was getting all the guests together, is that New Salem is a very independent town.
They are.
During COVID, you know, you were reasonable, you wanted things to be safe, but you weren't going to try to be real heavy-handed and shut things down, right? Like, how did you handle COVID?
Well, I think at first, you know, we found out that this was a pandemic. There was a general scare, you know. Most people took it very seriously. Some people, well, you know, it's like the flu, we're all going to get it. But when it got to be severe and you saw the number of deaths climbing across the United States and even across our state, and some of those deaths hit pretty close to home, you know, we encouraged our businesses, you know, to take all the necessary precautions, and of course some of our businesses shut down. And as time went on, after quite a few months had passed, it was actually proposed by one of our councilmen that we need to make some changes, and we decided that we were going to give our businesses local responsibility and local freedom to decide what they wanted to do and enforce those pandemic rules, you know. And so we decided to go ahead and open things, and ironically, just a few short weeks afterwards, the governor lifted the executive restrictions. But you know, we have enough trust in our community and enough trust in our people that we knew they'd make the right decisions.
I love that. I mean, it's really a community that works together and looks out for each other and is reasonable. Well, thank you, Lynette, for joining us today.
You're welcome.
And back to you, ladies.
Thanks, Patty. Pretty interesting segment, right? It's nice in a small town like that. You can call the mayor to help you find your cat. Anyway, we have so much more to talk about when we come back, but take a look at this first on Ladies of Another View on Back.
My hometown of New Salem is brought to you by the following: Backus & Sons Custom Fencing, West River Telecom, Sunset Cafe.
You don't need to live in Silicon Valley to get the best internet speeds in America. You can find them right here in WRT territory.
If we all just put a little bit of effort in and work together, we can get a lot done. We can grow as a community.
WRT members can build successful businesses and receive quality education, all from the rural communities they love.
The sky's the limit for us. We can really do anything that anybody else can do, especially now that we're connected to the world.
Work and play from anywhere. Learn more at westriv.com.
At Beck Communications, we've been planning for your future. Over the past decade, we've placed nearly 200,000 miles of dedicated fiber optics in the ground. Enough fiber optic strands to circle the world 8 times. Taking no shortcuts, we connected every home and business in our service area with dedicated fiber optics. It's your personal, unrestricted, unthrottled connection to the world. Best of all, this dedicated fiber means you do not share your connection. We call this intimate dedicated connection Beck Fiber.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Calling all farmers. Join us Friday, July 16th for Farmers Night at the Bismarck Bucks. The Bucks take on the Frisco Fighters with a 6:05 p.m. kickoff, and we'll highlight our friends at Farm Rescue. Please visit bismarckbucks.com.
Hey Bucks fans! If you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
My hometown of New Salem is brought to you by the following: West River Telecom, New Salem Pharmacy, Sunset Cafe.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. It's so fun listening to Patty and all the stories that are coming our way. And we do want to do another shout out to all the sponsors that are out there, because without them, this isn't possible. So we have West River Telecom, The Field, Curtis Rood Oil, Elmcrest Manor, Sunset Cafe, New Salem Memorial Monuments, Northland Insurance Agency, New Salem Journal, Security First Agency of North Dakota Incorporated, Backus & Sons Custom Fencing, Southwest Mutual Insurance, Neidhart Mobile Homes, and New Salem Pharmacy.
Great list.
Absolutely. So with that, we're going to throw it right back out to Patty right away.
Thank you, ladies. And we are now joined by Pete Hannabit, and he is the Director of Public Policy with the North Dakota Farm Bureau. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
And Pete actually is not originally from New Salem.
No.
And I like to find somebody not from the town who lives in that town and loves it. How long have you lived here?
Well, my wife and I, we made a choice in life to come to switch jobs and all that kind of stuff. And so 8 years ago, we moved to North Dakota, and in that selection process of trying to find where we were going to live, we kind of looked at all the towns within 30 or 40 miles of the capital, because as the Director of Public Policy, I'm the lobbyist for the organization, so we knew I was going to be going to the capital a lot during the legislative session. So we looked for a town within that convenient drive, and we started checking things off the list. You know, good schools, grocery store, other amenities like a hardware type store and all those things. And then the kicker for us was a Lutheran church. And so New Salem checked all of those boxes and didn't just check them in you know, just that they had them, they had good ones. Excellent school in New Salem, and not too large of a school. We wanted to raise our boys in a small town community, you know, the Mayberry community, and New Salem has that in all the good ways. And then there were other amenities. The 4-H fair is here, so we got that tied to agriculture. My boys have always been in 4-H, and so the fairgrounds being here was great. Just the fact that this was a community that embraced their agricultural history with a big dairy cow was all wonderful. And so all the boxes that we needed to check, this town had. And nothing against the other towns that were also within that distance, but this one had them, and it had them for all the right reasons in really good ways. And so we've been very pleased here. The town's been exceedingly welcoming. welcoming to outsiders. Not all small towns are welcoming to outsiders. It's just a reality. This town has been, and we've enjoyed raising our boys here, and they're proud North Dakotans at this point, and they each say that, you know, regardless of where college and life takes them, they're coming back to North Dakota.
Oh,
And the
wow.
oldest one already has a plan to come back to New Salem. That's how much he loves the
Wow,
town.
that
so
is something.
it's a testament to the town that kids
Yeah.
that weren't necessarily raised here all their lives decide that this is the best place they've been and have decided to come back.
And they obviously made friends or they wouldn't feel that way.
Absolutely. My oldest boy is going to be in a wedding here with friends that he made in school, and he was only in high school here, and the younger one got here and you know, in the grade school, junior high age, and they both have made lots of friends and lifetime friends, and Diane, my wife, and I have too, so it's a wonderful town.
And where did you move from?
We were from Indianapolis.
Okay.
And so we moved from a city of 3 million people and a state with 8 to 9 million people, and we moved to North Dakota, 800,000 people, to a town of 1,000 people, and couldn't be happier. It's just, you know, it's made our lives so much nicer in all the good ways that you think about as parents. Not as much stress and not a crime rate, obviously, and not all the other things. Big cities have a lot to offer, but there's a trade-off, and this town does not have all the trade-offs, but it has the bad trade-offs, but it has all the good amenities that you would have living in a bigger town with all the things that we have here within walking distance, literally.
Right, yeah, and a lot of people, we have viewers, of course, across North Dakota, but we also have them across the country. We have a couple from Long Island, New York that watch faithfully, and I think that the My Hometown series I like because it really gives a glimpse of what you came seeking for, right?
Yeah, and this town really did fit all those parameters in an amazing way, and it just is a wonderful place to live, a wonderful place to raise our kids, and it'll be a wonderful place for us to grow old as well together.
Yeah, and how old are your boys now?
We have one that's 22 and one that's 18.
Oh, so pretty close in age, 4 boys?
Not too far apart, yeah. So those two
Yeah.
boys, and you know, they're still committed to this town and happy with it, yeah.
And you're going to be an empty nester soon, so there'll be plenty to keep you busy in this town,
We
right?
may have to get an extra dog, you know, so we're not completely empty nesters, but we'll have time to plug ourselves into a lot of the other volunteer type things around the community, which we enjoy.
And I think it's the best of both worlds because it isn't a very long drive into Bismarck.
If you really needed something that you couldn't find here and needed it immediately, because anything here in town can get you whatever you need if they can order it in. But if you really needed something, you could go toward Bismarck, and Bismarck has any of the amenities that you'd find in any really huge city. But we have everything you could really realistically need here, plus a lot of things that you just can't put a value on that are worth millions.
And the things you don't need are not here, right?
Absolutely. We haven't had to worry about listening to sirens at night. We haven't had to worry about all the problems that you might have in a big city. It's just a wonderful, gracious little town.
Well, thank you, Alan, for letting us know, because it really says a lot when you come from the outside and you love New Salem so much and feel welcomed here.
Wonderful town, and couldn't have chosen better. Of all the towns around the Bismarck area, we couldn't have chosen better. It's a wonderful place.
And you've got the only cow,
Well, the joke has been that my wife's requirement of moving to North Dakota was to find a 50-foot cow, and this was the only town that fit the bill. But in reality, it's all the other things, and it's the people in this town that make it great.
So the cow is just the frosting on the cake, right?
She is a wonderful frosting on the cake, yes.
Well, thanks
Cream
so much.
frosting.
Cream frosting, of course. Well, thanks so much, Pete, for joining us. And back to you, ladies.
Thanks, Patty. So small towns like New Salem really truly have something for everyone, right?
I think so. All of these small towns do. You just need to check out what the special things are.
But what a culture shock coming from a city of 3 million, jumping
Yes.
into a town of 1,000 people, and they just absolutely love it. And I know Pete, and he's a great guy and easy to work with. So just the culture shock.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the culture shock is not so much a shock as kind of a relief when you're
Just a
going from
calm.
that total stress thing of the big city, and you just come and chill.
From white knuckle driving to like no
traffic.
stoplights. Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to talk more with Patty, but we're going to take a quick little break. But coming up next, we are going to talk to Alan Weiss from the Civic Club right after this on Ladies of Another View on Back.
My hometown of New Salem is brought to you by the following: Neidhart Mobile Home, Southwest Mutual Insurance, The Field.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha. The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness. During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark. Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close. Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars for just $39.99. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling atomic beam flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. We'll even ship them to you free. This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-619-1091. That's 1-800-619-1091. Or visit bynighthero.com. That's bynighthero.com. Order now.
Go for Launch 2018 series winner. Without further ado, it is my honors. Regina. The winning team is the Fleming River Excellence.
Oh my God!
They won!
Calling all farmers. Join us Friday, July 16th for Farmers Night at the Bismarck Bucks. The Bucks take on the Frisco Fighters with a 6:05 p.m. kickoff, and we'll highlight our friends at Farm Rescue as we help raise money to support our farmers around the region. For more information on tickets, please visit bismarckbucks.com. Get your free general admission tickets today.
You don't need to live in Silicon Valley to get the best internet speeds in America. You can find them right here in WRT territory.
If we all just put a little bit of effort in and work together, we can get a lot done. We can grow as a community.
WRT members can build successful businesses and receive quality education, all from the rural communities they love.
The sky's the limit for us. We can really do anything that anybody else can do, especially now that we're connected to the world.
Work and play from anywhere. Learn more at westriv.com.
My hometown of New Salem is brought to you by the following: Curtis Rood Oil, New Salem Memorial Monuments, Northland Insurance Agency.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, where we're learning about New Salem, and we'd like to thank these fine sponsors for this my hometown segment. And we have West River, Telcom, The Field, Curtis Rood Oil, Elmcrest Manor, Sunset Cafe, New Salem Memorial Monuments, Northland Insurance Agency, New Salem Journal, Security First Agency of North Dakota, Inc., Backus & Sons Custom Fencing, Southwest Mutual Insurance, Neidhart Mobile Homes, and New Salem Pharmacy. Great bunch to patronize.
Absolutely. Now let's just head right back out and see what Patty's up to.
Thank you, ladies. And I'm now joined with Alan Weiss, who works at Bismarck Tire but lives in New Salem, is from New Salem. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
The reason I had Alan on is I want to talk about Cowtown Hoedown Days, and you are a member of the New Salem Civic Club. And quite a few people said, talk to Alan, he can tell you about it. Because there is no Cowtown Hoedown Days anywhere in the world except in New Salem, North Dakota. And that is coming up this weekend, July 16th to the 18th. And tell us, what on earth is Cowtown Hoedown Days?
Well, it's basically a celebration of our town every year. It's a chance for the local people and people from other towns to come and celebrate. We have, starting on Friday nights, we have a or Friday night it's 5:30. We do have a car show. Anybody from around can bring their old cars, motorcycles, tractors. There's a tractor trek that night, and then there's live music afterwards on the street. So we have a street dance, well, kind of that night, Friday night, and then Saturday we start with a parade at 10:30 in the morning. Usually get anywhere from 40 to 50 floats, tractors, cars, you name it. And then then as the day goes on, we have a lot of games the kids play for kids and adults likewise. So, and then we finish up Sunday with the demolition derby.
Okay, now here's some of my favorite activities. Tell me if you've ever participated. You have a cow chip throwing contest. Have you ever done that?
I have not participated officially.
And you have cow bingo. What is cow bingo?
Cow bingo is, we have one of our local dairy farms are kind enough to bring one of their cows in, and it's in a 10 by 10 foot square pen with 100 squares on the ground, and wherever she
oh my gosh.
takes care of her business is where people buy tickets with numbers on, and
oh my gosh.
I believe they can win up to $300 if they have the number that.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, been doing that for many, many years. So
I did not have a clue. I saw cow bingo. What's that?
Yep, that's cow bingo. So
that is really funny.
Yeah.
And I jotted down just some of the features. You know, you have the tractor trek. And then on Sunday you have a demolition derby, and you're going to pay out $10,000 in prizes.
There's different
categories.
Different categories, and the total amount when you add up all the categories will come to $10,000. So it's been a very one of the more popular derbies around. It also depends on weather a lot of times, but yeah, we've had very good crowds here. Last year we had a very good crowd, I think, because in the middle of the summer people are tired of staying home and getting out, and we were able to have all our celebration last year, which I think was a relief for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Around to get out and enjoy the summer a little bit.
And it's fun. Mm-hmm. You know, if you've never gone to a demolition derby, it is so much fun. Like movies nowadays, they always have the chase scenes and the car scenes. Like, just come here and watch demolition derby. It's really fun.
Yeah, we have a lot of guys that have done it. There's several drivers from around New Salem that have been doing it for many years. And they put on a really good show sometimes for us, so a lot of times I should say. And
they put a lot of time into the look of their car too.
Yeah, some of when you get into these limited weld, they call them, there's a lot of time and money actually put into them. You know, I've been surprised how much they have invested, but they have fun doing it. So.
Yeah, well, obviously it's a hobby and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, the breakfast Saturday morning starts at 7 a.m.
Yep.
Is that, I saw that it was in under tents. It's not near the cow, is it?
No, they used to do it under the cow on Saturday morning. It got to be where people would park at the fairgrounds and they'd bus them up there, and that's, I believe, when the Lions Club used to do it. It just got to be a lot, so they now moved it down to Main Street when they have big tents, and now I think that one of the local church youth groups have taken it over, and so it's another fundraiser for the church. I believe it is the Peace Church, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So.
And you can go from breakfast to the parade, to lunch and the vendors and the games, and then there's dinner and music and a dance. Like the fun never ends. It's happening here in New Salem.
It's a busy weekend next week. So along with this weekend and the end of July, there's the fair and everything. So.
And I love that the Civic Club that you belong to raises $100,000. In the last 5 years, you've averaged $100,000 that you raise to put back into the community, right?
Right. Yep. It's through gaming that we raise our money, with the blackjack and the pull tabs and all that. We are involved in several communities now. Recently, we have gaming in Elgin and New Leipzig and Carson and I believe also one spot in Mandan, and we donate back to those communities as well too. And so it's been we
the school, the hospital in Elgin. We've done the schools, New Salem, a lot of different community things, benefits for people.
I love that because it keeps the community strong and it goes to a good cause. And if you want to know the events, because they also, August 4th to the 9th, you have the Morton County Fair. And a friend of mine said, you know, whenever New Salem has an event, it's full. Like people come from all over, and I mean, you might have some people from Long Island, New York, and really far away this year as they're like, hey, I need to go see that cow and go to Cowtown Hoedown Days, because that sounds like so much fun. But if you want to find out information, you can go to newsalem-nd.com. We'll have that up on the screen. Easy to remember, newsalem-nd.com. And then you have a list of all the different times, events for the day. But I think everybody should think about coming to Cowtown Hoedown Days. What a fun weekend.
It's a good time.
Yeah. And I just want to point out too that you work at Bismarck Tire in Bismarck, but you're from New Salem, and apparently there's no taking you out of New Salem, right?
No, as a matter of fact, a few years ago we did consider moving down to Bismarck, and my wife and I talked about it, and we have one daughter that's married with a new child, a daughter living here, and one up by Center with her husband and 3 children, young children, and we just couldn't, after we talked about it, just couldn't picture ourselves living anywhere else. I've been here my whole life, grew up on I was one of the 4th generation on our farm south of New Salem, and
4 generations, don't stop now.
My brother's still there, so pretty proud of the town. So.
Well, with good reason. It is a great town. Thank you so much, Alan, for joining us.
Thank you.
And I'll toss this back to you, ladies.
Thanks a lot, Patty. Boy, it sounds like New Salem has so much going on. I mean, it's just, there was an event last weekend, there's one coming up this weekend, and then they have the Morton County Fair. But the common theme is these communities give back to the communities. Did you hear that? I mean, it's all about giving back to these communities and keeping them alive.
And it's important when you're in those small towns and the surrounding ones like Bismarck, Mandan, going to New Salem, you need to take advantage of these events. Not everybody's going to make it to the state fair, and might not, but they scheduled it so that if you do want to go up there, there's not a conflict. And that's great.
The only thing I would encourage is if you are going to go out there and you're going to have a little fun in the evening, don't drink and drive, and don't even think about taking the back roads home, because they're heavily patrolled and it's just not worth it. So just our little public service announcement, don't drink and drive if you go out there this weekend.
And it sounded like there were lots of events as well that you don't need to drink at, like breakfast, which is great too. There's a 6-ton cow, apparently you can go see. And the cow chip throwing contest sounds like the most fun ever.
Absolutely. You know, back in college, we had a chicken bleep contest, and the same concept. But anyway, we have got to get going, and we are so glad that you stuck around to watch My Hometown in New Salem, and we'll catch you next time. Our next hometown is going to be Valley City. But we'll see you next time on Ladies of Another View on Beck.